Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's episode of the Squatchable Podcast, where we take a look at the week in Bigfoot news. Our stories tonight include a video by Tim Fasano, a rundown on the Hastings Convention, and an interesting article about how Bigfooting has helped one author reconnect with the natural world. Joining me tonight is Chris York from The 40 and Slip. Chris, how are you?
Wonderful. It is kind of on my channel this week, Richard.
It is on your channel, that's true, but, you know.
For those of you trying to find it. But yeah. What do we got, Richard?
Where are we at? We are here. And if you like The 40 and Slip, you might also enjoy Power Breakdown with a Phil Pullings show. And you may also enjoy the badly drawn misadventures of two Bigfoot over on Bigfooting with Keith and Colin. Without further ado, I am your host, Richard Allen, and let's just jump into it. Our first story comes from Adam Davies. He has released a new podcast this week, a paranormal and cryptozoological-based podcast. Launched on Monday, I believe. It features interviews with UFOologists and cryptid experts. It's about an hour long. It contains stories from Adam Davies about his adventures across the world, and it's a pretty good show. Did you have a chance to check that out?
No, I didn't catch that one, Richard.
No.
No. I heard about it.
Yeah.
I'd heard that it was on its way. Never been a huge fan of Mr. Davis. I guess some people are. I personally just don't. I mean, I don't have a thing for that adventurer, world traveler type, or that persona.
Right.
Yeah. So it just, I mean, it isn't my cup of tea, but I guess it is some other people's. And if you like the podcast, enjoy it. That's my take.
Yep, that's pretty much it. He's fancies himself as a new Indiana Jones type bloke. He goes around the world looking for new cryptids and paranormal experiences. There's nothing wrong with that. It's what I'd like to do for a living.
Is he a professor in his off time?
I don't think he's
I don't buy into the Indiana Jones type persona if you're not a professor in your off time. Because that is like the Bruce Wayne of the Indiana Jones. Just saying. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I don't think he's that. But he does write books and he does go across the world. So, that's pretty cute. Fair
enough.
I
said, I'd like to do that for a living. And next story comes from travelandleisure.com. It's a interesting article. I really enjoyed it, by Nick James, about how a couple of BFRO researchers helped him learn to love hiking and being outside again. His neighbor, Joe Beilhardt, author of the Oregon Bigfoot Highway, introduced him to the subject, led him to take a hike through Tillamook State Forest and Settle Lake. It touches on the possible origins of Bigfoot as a relative of Gigantopithecus. I really should know how to pronounce that.
Or Gigantopithecus?
Gigantopithecus. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
I've always seen it written. I've never heard it. And the BFRO teaches him to look for signs of Bigfoot passing. First snagged on tree trunks, broken branches, and of course footprints. Advised him that Bigfoot are intrigued by people acting like people and not wearing camo and ghillie suits. The author doesn't really seem to believe in Bigfoot if you read the article in depth, but he closes the article with the notion that it's just a cool way of getting outside and taking hikes and enjoying nature. You have a chance to read that?
I took a look over it. No, I mean, and hey, it is a great way to get out and enjoy nature. And if you're into the subject, yeah, absolutely. I've been an avid hiker since I was like 18, 19 was when I really got into it. And it had nothing to do with me being on the search for any type of strange creatures or Bigfoot or whatnot. I just enjoyed being in the mountains. But if this is what gets people out there and enjoying this type of stuff, that's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, I too like going outside. I'm an avid ferreter, and my mate's getting me into hawking recently. Go for hikes across marshland, looking for rabbit burrows and stuff, and spotting wildlife. It's a good time to be outside, and Bigfooting, is an excuse to go outside. And I'm all in favor of excuses to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we both enjoyed that. So, moving on, we have a brief biography about James Bobo Fay, who will be speaking today, I believe, at the Nebraska Bigfoot Convention. Although in 7 seasons of finding Bigfoot, they never managed to find it, he remains convinced of the beast's existence. He'll be talking at the Nebraskan conference with Ron Moorhead, Scott Carpenter, and Jeff Meldrum. James's fascination with Bigfoot began when he viewed the Patterson film. Well, a lot of us. That's where a lot of us, because it stood the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
He used to go for frequent hikes in the woods looking for the creature. His first encounter with Bigfoot was an audible experience in 2001, followed by a sighting 5 days later. In another encounter on location with finding Bigfoot in 2015, he encountered a juvenile Sasquatch making mischief outside the closed park at 3:45 a.m. The creature stomped around and through a river and hurled rocks at the show's producer. Well, you used to throw things at the former producer of the 40 Slip, so I'm sure you can sympathize with that.
Oh, yeah.
He says it's not surprising no one's ever caught one, as they can run up to 45 miles an hour and do it very quietly. He thinks that with today's technology, it's only a matter of time before Bigfoot gets discovered. Until then, he will continue to lead expeditions as the only registered, insured, and permitted guide offering tours where Patty was filmed. I reached out to Stephen Struford to confirm that, because the Bigfoot Bluff Creek project discovered where the Patterson-Gimlin film was originally filmed, and then know if he was the only guide that could give tours out there, but I didn't get a response from him, so I can't verify that.
I've met Bobo.
Yeah.
I to be honest, I don't have the adulation for him that a lot of people do. I wasn't horribly impressed by him. He seemed, he was one of the people when they all four, the Finding Bigfoot crew came to the Bigfoot Museum in California. And when he showed up with like an entourage. And I mean, that's all fine and good. It just seemed kind of weird to me. And he was one of the last people to show up. But I mean, hey, like you were saying, what was it? 7 seasons of Finding Bigfoot?
Yep.
And they didn't find anything.
I don't like
but again, like one of the things that I have an issue with, and I've said this many times, I don't like Bigfoot facts. And him saying like they can run up to 45 miles an hour quietly. Says who? When did we document this?
Literally about to say that. Yeah, I don't agree with them saying these things as facts. There are no facts regarding Bigfoot because it is an undiscovered species. I'm not even convinced it even exists at all anymore.
Right.
So, it's you can't say things without being able to verify it. And there's no way to be able to verify if it can run 45 miles an hour, because you would have had to have done tests, and you can't test something that's unknown by science. And that, the stuff about the juvenile Bigfoot stomping through the river, they had the whole production team out there. Nobody got a picture.
Right.
It's just, it seems a bit fishy to me. But we're not here to bash anyone. We're just presenting the news. Moving on to the BFRO witness. A witness statement has been uploaded to the BFRO database this week. One night while fishing with 2 friends on a creek outside town, it was nearing 11 p.m. pitch black night. Fish were biting decent. But to pass the boredom, his one friend found 2 sticks laying on a bridge. In a humorous way, he started beating them together. To join the fun, I made a very odd whoop sound just for giggles. He put the sticks down and we went back to fishing. A couple of minutes passed by and we heard what seemed to be an identical echo to the absurd noise I made. The sound was roughly a half mile across a field and in a patch of timber on the other side of the field. I first thought it was another fishing friend playing a game with me, so I made another whoop back. It was quiet for approximately 5 minutes. Then it whooped back again. To keep the fun and none the wiser, I whooped back again. We waited, then it made a whoop back, only it was clearly out of the timber into the open field. Startled, I told my friends that it was on this side of the river and we paddled away quickly. Now, the BFRO database recorded this on February 13th, 2019. But if you can see from the screenshot, it's actually from 2017.
Right.
So, I guess the person that uploads to the database took a while for them to get it onto the database. But, it's a witness statement.
And in instances like this, I'm brought back to a news story that I read, oh God, it must have been like 3 years ago now, where a gentleman had offered his services to help with some of these Bigfoot, quote unquote researchers that were going out in the woods, to help them bring out their equipment.
Right.
And, he's telling the story about how they're out there and they're blasting calls and they're blasting calls. And then all of a sudden they get a call back. So they start moving towards it and to keep blasting calls and they get calls back. Well, one thing leads to another. They keep moving. The sound keeps moving towards them. It's another group of Bigfoot researchers. And, I wonder how much of that happens out on these expeditions, research, whatever you want to call them. But I just wonder.
Yeah. That is a documented phenomenon that's happened multiple times in Salt Fort Park.
Mm-hmm.
I've read a few accounts of that happening. And, finding Bigfoot, for better or worse, drew a lot of attention to the subject. And the whole whooping thing and the stick bashing thing is now a well-known thing attributed to Bigfoot. And you can't anymore say for sure it's Bigfoot. Well, not that you could in the first place, but when not a lot of people knew about it, it was more likely to be Bigfoot. But these days it could be kids playing pranks. It could be other Bigfoot researchers. There's no way of knowing because so many people associate stick bashing and whooping with Bigfoot. So one of them. And for our final story, I had to include this. Tim Fasano uploaded a video. His 10 years in Bigfooting.
I thought he was retired.
He's unretired.
Oh.
He's Brett Favre'd it.
Oh, and good for Tim. I'm a fan.
I love Tim Fasano's videos. I mean, again, I'm not going to bash anyone on this show. Let's say he's a controversial researcher, but I enjoy his videos quite a lot, and I will watch them whenever he uploads them. So his 10 years in Bigfoot, it's 7 minutes and 40 seconds long. He exclaims that he has made 1,146 videos in 10 years. He went out into the woods and did Bigfoot YouTube videos before anyone else except Tim Stover, according to Tim in this video. He feels like he received a lot of heat and criticism from what he called keyboard warriors, people that weren't willing to go out there but were willing to analyze his work and point out the mistakes he was making. He says that now no one criticizes anyone for anything, particularly with the woo, these people making absurd claims with little or no evidence. He says that people need to be a lot more skeptical. He broke down a video by Cascade Bigfoot, wherein they exclaiming that they showed a shadow on the side of the tree, and they were trying to say it was Bigfoot, and no one was calling them on it. He then goes on to compare himself to Renee DeHinden. He makes fun of Utah Sasquatch, and he closes the video with lamenting the fact that he hadn't thought of scamming people with fake Bigfoot videos first. So it's a highly entertaining video, about 8 minutes long, as I said. Did you get a chance to watch that?
I did not get a chance to watch that, but that is one I will watch because I find Tim Fasano entertaining. The man can definitely entertain me. That's for sure. Do I find him to be a credible researcher? I mean, again, this is one of those things where what is credible? You know? So I don't know how we define that, but it is what it is, and I like I said, I'm a fan. So
he's a good laugh for sure, and his videos are very entertaining, and he's so serious about everything he does. He's Tim Fasano. He's out there in the woods.
Would you, Richard? I have a quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like your actual other co-host to be on the show?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. I just wanted to check, before we sign off, there might be a chance that we might be able to actually get him on the show.
Oh, that would be cool.
There is a possibility because, as anyone would know, this show normally is on the Para Breakdown YouTube channel. We were unable to get in touch with Phil at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. So I asked Richard, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to throw this up on my channel? Which he said yes. We were waiting around. And I just got a message from him. But I don't know if he's going to see the Hangout link in time, Richard. So I don't know, if you want to wrap it up, what you want to do, how you want to work this.
I will give him a few minutes. It's we've only been going for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing else new in the Bigfoot world?
Nothing new in the Bigfoot world. There was a couple of other articles, but thanks to EU regulations, I could not view them.
Really?
Yeah, that's been happening more and more lately. I get all my Bigfoot news from Google and the Bigfoot portal and Bigfoot evidence. Mm-hmm. And lately, when I click on these articles, I'm getting this blank screen with you can only view these webpage outside the EU, or your country has disabled viewing privileges for this website. This is getting annoying because I've had to skip out on a couple of decent articles because I couldn't actually view the show. It's annoying.
Yeah, that is kind of annoying. Nothing new from the Rick Dyer front?
I haven't heard anything.
Just the announcement?
Just the announcement. I'm sure that he's going to keep it, and you're never going to believe this.
What's that?
He just sent me a link.
Yeah. I was trying to nip that in the bud before he did it, but yeah. So anyway,
has he? I'm gonna just. So no, I assume that Rick Dyer just wants to keep us all, guessing, asking questions, keep his name relevant, build up the hype, as you will.
Mm-hmm.
And well, that's his MO, isn't it? That's what he's going to do.
Yeah, it seems to be.
I mean, we had the Hank hoax, and then there was the tarp hoax. Well, it wasn't really a hoax because it lasted about 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And we had that Bigfoot with the salon quality hair.
Yes.
And that is that is how Rick Dyer do.
Yeah. That is how Rick Dyer do. Phil, it is nice of you to join us.
You ever have one of those days?
Yeah, I have, Phil.
Yeah, I bet you have.
Yeah, I have. But you know, we've done the news, so you know, you're good. You know,
Oh.
all the heavy lifting's done for you.
Well, great. Thank you. That's wonderful. Thanks, guys.
Do you have anything to add? I mean,
Yeah, about that last story.
oh, okay.
Yeah. What was it again?
Tim Fasano.
Oh, is he on now? Are we going to debate?
No.
No.
We were not
No?
able to get the Phil Poling versus Tim Fasano cage match had to happen. That's not going to go down, I don't think.
Well, what the good are you then?
I know. I mean, I tried. I tried to work it
You
out.
know what?
I tried to give you guys the platform, the place to do
Mhm.
this in a
Yeah.
safe manner.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's strange, but he says he's willing to confront everyone, but he's refusing to do the debate with you.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. But we were talking about his 8-minute long video, you know, about his 10 years in Bigfooting.
Oh,
I don't know.
did he leave again or did he come back again?
No, this was about how everybody's skeptical of him, but not skeptical of other people, and how.
Well,
You know.
I mean, why should I be skeptical of other people? I mean, everyone knows I'm just skeptical of Tim Fasano.
Just
Just Tim Fasano. Well, like what he said.
that's the only one you're skeptical of?
Well, according to Tim Fasano.
Jesus, has he watched any of your other videos?
No.
Oh.
Well, he must have watched at least one.
No, probably just his.
Yeah.
The one where you talked about him. Yeah.
I think so.
I wish we could get it to happen, Phil.
Mm.
I would love to have that debate. I've said that for a long time, that I would love to have a nice, open, honest debate on my show.
It would be fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I agree. So, anything else from you, Richard?
Oh, that about wraps us up for the week.
God. No, you're kidding me, really? Oh, man.
No, you literally missed it, Phil.
I missed everything.
Yeah, you missed everything. We tried to wait for you too.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my wife's car was blowing water out of the hose, so I had to try to figure out what's going on.
Hey, things happen, Phil. It's all right. You know, we got it. It's in cruise control, Phil. You're all good.
It's tough when you got a leaky hose. You know what I'm talking about.
This thing is like a self-driving Tesla. It's all good.
Okay. All right.
So that wraps us up for this week. I'm Richard Allen. He's Chris York. He's Phil Pulling. Say good night. Good night.
Good night.